Imagine the first warm day of spring on campus. You're outside for just a few minutes, walking to class or walking to the dining hall, and it feels fine because everyone else does the same thing. But by graduation, those tiny moments in the sun could add up to hundreds of hours of UV exposure, even on days that you didn't burn. I believe college students need to adopt simple, quick sun safety habits to protect their long-term skin and overall health. In my audience survey, most of you said you sometimes use sun protection. But the biggest barrier is inconvenience, which is so true. I can totally relate as a college student myself. Putting on sunscreen just takes a long time and it has to dry. And it messes with your makeup, everything like that. It's just, there's so much to it. You guys, you aren't against it, but you don't have the tools yet to make it practical. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Luckily, the safest habits are also the simplest. So, as a certified American Red Cross lifeguard, I have been lifeguarding for about 6 years now at the Deshler Pool, which has been an absolute joy. But I've seen a lot of skin damage from the sun. And personally, myself, being in the sun for hours and hours, have struggled with having scabs on my nose, everything. And I've tried everything to keep my skin sunproof. So I know about everything there is about sun safety at this point. So I'm excited to share that with you today. Today, I'll show you first why everyday sun exposure is a real problem for college students, even if you can't see it on your skin. 2, I have 3 convenient sun safety habits that take under a minute, so very practical. And 3, what your future could look like with this protection and without protection. So let's begin with why this issue is more serious than people expect. The risks of high sun exposure without sun protection can be dangerous to your health. Daily sun exposure can cause long-term silent damage. According to the 2014 study, Ultraviolet Radiation, Aging, and the Skin, Prevention of Damage, quote, UV exposure may account for up to 80% of visible signs of aging in the skin, including dry appearance, scalping, wrinkling, and impaired pigmentation, and photoaging that correlates with cancer risk. Very serious business. Most UV damage within your lifetime happens before age 25, exactly our age. Stuff that we're going through right now is going to impact us later on, much more than at any other point in our life. So we need to pay attention now as college students. According to WellNow Urgent Care, premature aging, UV exposure accelerates skin aging, resulting in wrinkles like we talked about before, age spots, dryness, sagging, and deepened skin furrows. No college student, especially I know the girls, do not want that on their skin. So we need to be very careful about our sun exposure, not just cosmetically, but also for our overall health. College students underestimate the risks of this. Most of you said that you sometimes use sun protection, which is what the majority of the population most likely is. Only a few of you said that you use it often, which is something that we want to work on. Many of you said that it feels inconvenient. So you skip it or you only use it in extreme situations with sun, such as going to the beach or running at a cross-country meet or track meet when you're out in the sun all day. And the consequences of this are real. According to the Melanoma Research Foundation, approximately 400 children in the U.S. are diagnosed with melanoma each year. This is a serious situation. Melanoma is very dangerous. That same article said that experiencing 5 or more blistering sunburns between ages 15 and 20 increases one's melanoma risk by 80%. 80% are melanoma risk between 15 and 20. That can apply to at least half of our college student population. And 5 or more blisters, I know myself, I've definitely had way more than 5 or more blisters in 1 year. So we need to be very careful and recognize that it's not just a sunburn. It's so much more than that. So it is true, the problem of sun damage is real, but the barriers of protection are harder than what people make it out to be, which is too bad today. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to work smarter and not harder with our sun protection. So common forms of sun protection can be annoying and take up time, which we all know about, but there are other practical forms of sun protection. The number one barrier you guys named is inconvenience. That sunscreen feels annoying, it's too greasy, it takes too long, or you just forget about it. It seems secondary. So here are 3 fast, practical applications that can solve that problem. 1, using a daily moisturizer with SPF 30. I know for a fact that there's one that's CeraVe that you can use. But according to the World Health Organization, you should always use a sunscreen that filters out both UVA and UVB and has a SPF of 30 or higher. To achieve good protection, apply the sunscreen thickly and evenly to all exposed parts of your body, 20 to 30 minutes before going outside. To do this, find a moisturizer with SPF 30 and integrate it into it. This method takes 5 seconds. It's just a substitution, replacing normal moisturizer with SPF 30. Doesn't add any more time to your day. The second thing you can do is carry a small portable mineral SPF mist. No rubbing, no mess, and it takes just a few seconds to spritz before classes. According to Stanford Medicine, both mineral and chemical options can be effective if they offer broad spectrum protection and are properly used. The third thing you can do is strategic accessory swapping. A few suggestions from the CDC Sun Safety Facts webpage include grabbing a hat, sunglasses, or UV clothing when you know you'll be outside. These are simple changes, such as different clothing, different hats, and these habits directly match what you said you wanted. Quick, comfortable, cheap, and effortless. These are things that are just substitutions instead of additional things like putting on additional sunscreen. So now let's look at what your future could look like depending on whether you make these changes. To understand why these small changes matter, imagine the difference between a future with sun protection and without it. If you don't adopt these habits, like we talked about before, you can have more wrinkles and sunspots. And according to Stanford Medicine, 2025, scientific studies have consistently shown that regular sunscreen use reduces the incidence of skin cancer and slows the signs of aging. There's higher lifetime melanoma risk. According to the American Academy of Dermatology Association 2025 statement, skin cancer is the most common cancer in the U.S., affecting an estimated 1 in 5 Americans in their lifetime. Every day, nearly 20 Americans die from melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer. Painful burns can interfere with class, sports, and work. If you do adopt them, you'll have healthier, clearer, younger-looking skin for decades, lower cancer risk, and a routine that you barely notice when you adopt these habits. So now what should you do? Putting these habits into practice, there are 3 steps that you can start using today. Switch to a daily moisturizer with SPF 30. Keep a portable mist in your backpack. Use strategic accessory swapping whenever you're going to head outside. My challenge to you is to try this for just 1 week. You'll hardly notice, but your future health will. So before we wrap up, let's take one final look at what these choices mean for you. Today we examined the real risks of everyday sun exposure, the convenience barrier you identified in your survey's responses, 3 ultimate simple habits that remove the barrier, and the future you can create by choosing to adopt them. Sun safety doesn't have to be time-consuming or complicated. I know it's hard, but these small, quick habits can protect your long-term health, and that's something that I want for each and every one of you.